down a smooth, gentle river in the summertime. But an unhealthy family is like a dangerous river, filled with rocks, debris, and fast-moving water. This river swiftly leads to the steep waterfall of adulthood, tragically forming a new river of dysfunction. Even if you aren't born into an unhealthy river, there are many streams that cause a person to get there. But there is only one way to get out, and that is through a meaningful relationship. Across our region, there are many agencies, churches, and families who are devoted to helping children escape from unhealthy rivers. Some feel their role is to wade in and rescue children. They foster, adopt, or provide safe families. Others stand by the river and support the rescuers by providing what they need. Still, others are upstream and stand in the gap to keep children from ending up in the negative situations. At Patrick Henry Family Services, we see ourselves as having an additional role. We are running up and down the shores of the unhealthy river, screaming, "Can't you see the children in the water? You have to do something." Vision 30 is a 10-year initiative. By 2030, we envision a region where all children are safe in their own family, or with caregivers who are supported by a local faith community. So, where do you stand at the river? Are you upstream, keeping families together and strong by standing in the gap? Are you in the river, directly impacting children? Are you on the shore, providing support for the brave folks who have entered the river? Or are you just passing by without noticing? No matter who you are, come down to the river with us. Let us help you find your place. Not only will lives be changed, but you will never be the same.
So where's your place at the river? Right. So we at Patrick Henry have said we're going to camp out at several places along this river, and these programs are an example of that. And even within what we call the teams, they have various spots in the river as they're doing things. But it all goes back to, right, how do we make foster care obsolete? How do we confront the reasons kids are going into foster care to begin with? And if we can confront those reasons, then kids don't go into foster care. They don't have the additional trauma of being separated from their families. They don't age out of foster care without a permanent family. So let's talk about the numbers, right? This Vision 30 is all about what we're watching on a regular basis is how many kids are in foster care, right? So Liam, let's pull up the numbers here and see what we're looking at. This is our challenge. Oh, I'm sorry, that is number 6. A lot of numbers there.
Yeah.
So explain that to us, Claudia.
So this is the number of kids that are in foster care in the region. So you can see by county each number, and then you can see the total, and you can see by year. And I took an average of the quarter. So we started at 367 January 2021 when we started tracking, and now we're at 333. You can see that the Lynchburg numbers are just about exactly the same as they were, and that the other numbers are down, some significantly. And so, so I think we could be discouraged,
or we could
or
be
we
hopeful.
could be, or we could ask the question, what if there was no Vision 30?
All right.
And what would the numbers look like? And we have no way of knowing the answer to that question. But
Right, and we don't know if how much of our work is impacting these numbers or their various, right? So that's,
Right.
And we're still trying to pull apart the data even more to see if there's a way to track that better. But these are the numbers, and as you often point out, is Lynchburg's kind of the secret to this because the numbers are high, but all the counties around it really are. Lynchburg is its hub city, and many folks come to Lynchburg for services, et cetera. So whatever we can provide in Lynchburg often will impact families and children in the surrounding counties, right? So we offer something there. So this is part of why we're here.
And I think that, I say this probably every chance I have to say it, and people have heard it over and over again. But the reason that Care Portal is so powerful is that if every family that was a Christian family stable in this community that says that they're followers of Jesus would say about one other family, not on my watch, not going to happen on my watch, right? There are 3 families that I have made that commitment to in my own heart that I met through Care Portal. And right now that's 13 kids that are in foster care right now because I'm bound and determined that they're not going to be. And so when I see a danger sign, because I'm in communication with them on a regular basis, there's an intervention that I have to do that might be uncomfortable to say, hey, listen, you need to realize that if you don't do this, this, and this, this isn't what's going to happen.
Right.
And I know what the risk factors are, and I know that the kids love their parents. I know that the moms are doing their best to be good moms, and so I'm just watching because I'm in relationship with them all the time to say, this has to be fixed right now.
And you've earned a right to be heard, right?
Because I've been there for a long time.
Because you've been there, right? A lot of texting, a lot of calls, a lot of...
rescuing.
right? Windshield conversations, as we call it, right?
Yep.
Sitting side by side in a car and having conversations, meaningful conversations,
Yep.
because you've earned that right to be there. I often talk about whether ministry is wholesale or retail.
Yep.
Right. So we just looked at a lot of programs, and in some sense, programs are wholesale. This is a way that we're trying to impact a large number of people. But in the end, ministry runs on the real relationships, which means it is family by family and child by child. And it's not programs that change people. It's relationships, right?
Right. And it has to be, this is all my personal volunteer time. It's not part of me being a chief program officer. So it doesn't regulate, it doesn't come to that side of my brain of this is my professional responsibility because they're on my caseload and they're my client and I have to make sure. And we need all that, right? That's
Right.
the wholesale piece. We need paid professionals to do that. But as one of the moms told me when I first met her, she said, outside my family, I think you're the only person that's ever cared about me that didn't get paid to.
Wow.
And so it's that whole, I know you care about me, but you're getting paid to care about me. And somehow it's not the same as if somebody's doing stuff in their free time because they want to with no obligation and no rules.
And that is the power of being a volunteer,
Yeah.
of stepping into space and loving somebody by choice, not because we get paid. It can be difficult for us who do get paid to do work, right?
Yeah.
And we're often taught in our professions to have boundaries, right? To not step across and bring all of that into your personal life. But as Christians, we're called to make it very personal. So it is hard to sometimes say, this is my professional self,
Yeah.
and this is the program that I'm a part of, and I'm going to put on my best professional self, and I'm going to follow all the professional rules. And I talk about this with my social work interns all the time, right? How to be your best professional social worker. But you, as a Christian, are also called to ministry. And if it's happening in an organization, in an institution, and you're getting paid for it, that's your social work side. And we're thankful for all of that. But what are you doing after that? What are you doing between that? What are you doing personally that steps, causes you to step into those spaces, those sacred spaces. You call them sacred spaces, right? Yeah. It's harder to do when you have that professional helper hat on, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure. Well, I don't know what people think about me. I never do. But
you want me to tell you?
No, I don't think I want to know. But it really isn't about me trying to say, "Hey, I'm so awesome, I do this." It's me trying to, because I could get, like, I have all the excuses in the world if I wanted to right now of why I shouldn't have to do this, right? I have all these 12 kids that still text me, and I'm still involved in their lives, and I have 14 grandkids, and I have, my Care Portal stuff that I have to do on top of the job that I'm doing as chief program. I'm busy. I have all this going on. But I always ask myself, when one of these families needs something, what would I be doing if I didn't go help them? And if the answer is watching Netflix, I get up and I go give somebody a ride. Or if the answer is I might spend, this on a Frappuccino. Well, not that I drink those, but what would I do with this money if I didn't give it to this person who needs it? I'm always convicted. It's a spiritual thing. And it's not I'm so cool, I'm so awesome, you should be like me. It's this is what I really believe God's calling all of us to do. And I have no reason to say no, so I don't.
So we talk about here at Patrick Henry Family Services about being volunteer-driven and professionally supported, right? We're getting better at the professionally supported part. We've been working on that, and we really are getting better. And we're getting better at the volunteer-driven part of that in terms of us professionally supporting the volunteers. But right? For us to really get better, we've got to have the heart of a volunteer ourselves, right? This has got to be our ministry. And if for no other reason, it'll make you a better professional to stay personally involved in this. Right? In my position as CEO, I'm doing wholesale stuff all the time. I'm going to go deliver some packages in South Boston. Remind me at a personal, intimate level about why I'm doing this, right? If I don't do that, you start losing connections with the why.
Right. And I think it's really hard for us to ask people to do something we wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Right. And I've always used that as a guideline for myself. Am I asking somebody to do something that I wouldn't do? And other than decorate for a party, I usually try not to ask people to do something that I wouldn't do.
So this is going to sound like I'm bashing on the church, and I'm not bashing on the church, but I, as a former pastor myself, it's easy to fall into the wholesale gospel thing and to program everything and not equip the saints to do the work of the ministry, which is to be personally involved in your neighborhood, in your community, having relationships with people. We're taught and trained to bring them to church so the professionals can share Jesus with them, or bring them to church so they can experience the program, and rather than equipping them to go out and do that. So, but we could talk about that more about that on another time. But we're running out of time. So, one last slide, Liam, if you could put up number 2. This we are coming to the end of the year, right? You saw the impact of all of these numbers. And this is the time in which we ask our folks to give and dig a little deeper and to give. And you can see the impact that COVID had on us acquiring new donors. And this isn't unique to us. It happened to almost every nonprofit because we weren't meeting in person, and so it was hard to acquire, right? We weren't having events. It's starting to tick back up again. Thank you, Liam. I want to look at the folks in the face when I say this next part. So if you're watching this first time and you're interested in the work that we do at Patrick Henry, I'd love for you to give a gift, a contribution, small, large, whatever. That's up to you. But beyond that, I hope that you will step into the space personally, right? Don't just write a check and say, I've taken care of my obligation. I've done the work of ministry. Places like this need help to run these programs, but families need your personal involvement. Make a gift of that, not just at Christmas time, but year-round. Any last words of wisdom, Miss Claudia Fletcher?
Don't open that door. Let's just be done.
Let's just be done.
Well, I have plenty to say, but
we'll just be done. You hear that? We'll just be done. Hey, thanks for joining us on Community Connection, and we'll see you next week for another episode. See you then.